Hi guys, when we talk about conventions or even the law, we must not fall into the trap of legislating, signing up or abandoning something because of individual cases. We don't ban cars because somebody has been involved in reckless driving. We do, however, use existing legislation to punish those who act outside the norms of society. What we're hearing a lot lately is a campaign to leave the European Convention on Human Rights. The usual suspects are heading it: the far right of the Conservative Party, with a few so-called moderates jumping on the bandwagon, and of course Nigel Farage. Here the Reform UK leader cites two examples of what he claims are individuals protected by the Convention, which is a justification in his eyes for dumping the entire thing. Have a listen.
So we've got an Albanian criminal. He's deported from the UK. He comes back in illegally, gets a Lithuanian girl pregnant, and now we can't deport him because of Article 8 of the European Convention on Human Rights, which means his right to a family life, and he can stay.
Okay, before we get on to the second example, once again, is this a good thing? No, it's not. Is this right? Of course not, if Farage is telling the truth about this story. I don't have the full details, but let's say for the benefit of the doubt, he's telling the truth. Is this a good thing? It's not. Somebody is obviously abusing the system, but this is not a justification for throwing away rights for British people, because the Convention is there to protect the rights of British people. If the government is not protecting their rights, they have a higher court to go to. Now, you have to exhaust the existing system in order to eventually go to the European Court of Human Rights. It's not just something you call up because you're not happy. You have to exhaust the British system and then eventually go to the European one. So what Farage is suggesting is, well, look, we have all these protections for British people, the rights of British people. Let's throw them all in the bin because of an individual Albanian. Once again, what this guy is doing, if it's true, is wrong. But we don't throw away everyone's rights because of an individual case.
We've got another Albanian. This is a proper wrong on this bloke. He's been deported twice. He's now driving around London in a Ferrari. And we can't get rid of him until his asylum claim is heard. We are literally being walked all over by foreign criminals, and we're too useless and too gutless to do anything about it whatsoever. And until we leave the European Convention on Human Rights, get it out of British law, leave that ludicrous foreign court, we will have criminals from all over the world making a total mockery of this country. If that's not enough to make you angry, I don't know what is.
He wants you to be angry. Now, the second case that he cites here, what's this got to do with the European Convention on Human Rights? You're talking about a guy who's waiting for his asylum claim to be processed, and he's driving around in a Ferrari. Now, I don't know if that Ferrari is his, if it's a friend of his, but let's say for the sake of argument it's his. Then the issue is not an asylum or Home Office issue. It's the HMRC. It's the revenue. They have to go around and find out why does this... Like, if I had a Ferrari tomorrow, my neighbors would probably call up the tax office and say, hey, this guy has a Ferrari. There's something probably dodgy there. If this guy has a Ferrari and is an asylum seeker, obviously there's something dodgy. So the police will be involved. Or the government office will be involved. It's nothing to do with the Home Office, nothing to do with asylum claims. And it's nothing to do with the European Convention on Human Rights. There's nothing in the convention that says you should be allowed to have a Ferrari. If this guy is involved in crime, then he should be arrested. There's nothing to do with the European Convention on Human Rights. So what Farage is doing here is he's using one example of a bad individual who's running roughshod over the convention to suggest that, well, British rights, the rights of British people need to be thrown in the bin, and using another case which has no real connection, any connection that I can see, to the European Convention on Human Rights, to say that we need to throw the ECHR in the bin again. This guy is not interested in protecting the rights of British people. This is about removing protections to benefit the richest in society, to allow dodgy businesses to be able to strip away the protections of workers, to maximize profit. That's what it's about. Farage doesn't care about ordinary people. He doesn't even care about his constituents in Clacton. He's mentioned it on a number of occasions, how much he cares about them. So we have to be very concerned about individuals talking about getting rid of protections for the rights of British people, because They're not interested in British people, they're interested in themselves or the people who donate to them. The European Convention on Human Rights is there to protect the rights of British people. Are there some people who will abuse it? Of course there are. In the same way that during the 2010s, the Conservatives tried to get rid of benefits for ordinary people because of a few bad eggs. They brought them up in the House of Commons, somebody who was gaming the system. But that's not a justification for throwing the whole thing out. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot.